Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
Many thanks for joining us again. I am Tayo Salam.
All right, coming up on the program, we have MFM getting their fourth win of the season. And it was Elijah Akoni's 52nd minute goal that gave them that victory over Nasarawa United. And for MFM, it's like they actually have the numbers of Nasarawa United. It's the fifth time they are winning against them in the MPFL.
Fantastic victory for MFM right here in Lagos at the Agege Stadium, to be precise. Also on the show, this time around, we're going to Spain, where Real Madrid needed a late goal from Vinicius Jr. to earn a point against Real Sociedad.
Okay, and also on the program, yes, we'll go straight to the NBA. I mean, the Rockets are failing to launch. I don't know where they're going to launch that rocket. 12 straight loss. Not a good one, losing to another team that have been very woeful this season. Talking about the Cavs. John Wall and Victor Oladipo just can't resurrect the Rockets.
Yes, the Rockets, safe to say that they're grounded at the moment. No launch pad whatsoever, despite the fact that they have John Wall, they've got Victor Oladipo as well too. But very worrying times for Houston. Indeed, we'll come back to that game in a moment. But there were other games that went down in the NBA. We have all the results for you, and we start with the game between the Mavericks and the Orlando Magic. It ended 130 to 124, Cecilia, in favor of Dallas, and it was Luka Doncic leading the way with 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. This guy just clocked 22 just a couple of days ago, and everyone that's seen him play can testify to his greatness already. He's going to go on and have a fantastic NBA career.
There's no doubt about that.
No
Everyone
doubt.
is already comparing him
To
Larry
Bird. Exactly.
Very big compared to that rich man. You know that, yes, you are
You're
in
doing
a very
something
good
right.
company.
Absolutely.
But he says no, he's not like him.
Yeah.
He's just Doncic. But I know that his greatness definitely close to that, right?
All right, then still a long way to go, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the Indiana Pacers and the 76ers. Of course, it was Philadelphia prevailing 130 to 114. Furkan Korkmaz and Shake Milton coming off the bench to spark that victory, that rout for the 76ers over the Indiana Pacers. The Nuggets defeated the Chicago Bulls 118 to 112. Nikola Jokic dominated with 39 points in that victory for Denver.
Rebounds, 9 assists, just one shy of
For the player. The Denver Nuggets, okay. I mean, I'm sure they're very happy to have Nikola Jokic in their ranks. Of course, there's also Jamal Murray as well, too. Those two guys did amazing things in the bubble last season. Also, still in the NBA, let's go on to the Pelicans and the Utah Jazz. They've lost again. 129 to 124 in favor of New Orleans. Zion Williamson, 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in that victory.
in the third quarter.
He didn't show any fear. No fear whatsoever going up
all.
against Rudy Gobert last night, early this morning. And that's why a lot of people believe Zion is going to be on his way to greatness as well. The Nets prevailed over the San Antonio Spurs 124 to 113. Their first victory in a long time, in 17 games, as a matter of fact, against San Antonio, in San Antonio. And of course, it was James Harden with triple-double in that victory. We'll come back to that game in a moment as well. The Cavs defeated the Houston Rockets 101 to 90. 12 straight losses now. The grounded Rockets it's not looking good at all. Colin Sexton, 39 points for the Cavs in that victory. And for the Rockets, John Wall had a season high, 32 points. But obviously, it wasn't enough to get the W. Elsewhere, and last but not the least, the Blazers defeated the Charlotte Hornets 123 to 111. Carmelo Anthony, 29 points in that victory.
6 3 points.
Fantastic. Rolling back the years.
Melo.
All right, let's talk about the Rockets and the Cavs. Cecilia, there's not much to say other than
except that they're losing.
They can't afford to buy a win at the moment. And
22 loss.
22. That's appalling.
Overall,
And
11 wins. And 9 of the losses happens to be at
terrible, terrible. And this losing streak is coincided with the absence of Christian Wood as well, to the young center who has been tipped for a lot of greatness. Like I said yesterday, I am starting to get worried for Steven Silas. This wasn't the plan for him. He's supposed to come into Houston and work with James Harden and try and get them back in the playoffs. But then the star player said, "Nah, I'm done here.
I'm done. I'm not staying here. These guys are not good enough for me."
Now it's going to have to deal with, all these other players, and they've had injuries as well too. And it's a real problem in Houston right now. And we'll see how it goes.
Just
Keep
trying to see how they can rest it and allow the Rockets to launch.
Yeah.
They can finally do that. But it's not getting easier for them because their next game
Next up is the Brooklyn Nets. James Harden returning to town. Yeah, it's going to be a tough
talking about Brooklyn Nets, yes, of course. They won again. I mean, you talked about the fact that they haven't won in San Antonio. What was that, in 17 games?
Exactly.
Okay,
so
finally, they got that. James Harden responsible for that?
Yeah, James Harden was the man. Triple-double, 30 points, 15 assists, and 14 rebounds in that victory. It's the 7th triple-double with the Brooklyn Nets. So he's had a fantastic start with this franchise, and the sky is definitely the limit for them, because despite the fact that Kyrie has been injured recently, KD's been injured recently, they're still second in the Eastern Conference behind Philadelphia. And, I mean, they're looking good. They're looking good. Yeah. And I'm not going to bet against Brooklyn going all the way in this particular season, perhaps all the way to the conference finals. And who knows, the NBA championship as well. Before we leave the NBA, let's take a look at the standout performers. A lot of monstrous performances across board early this morning, starting, of course, with James Harden, 30, 14, and 15. Also on this list is Colin Sexton, the young star who's replaced Kyrie in Cleveland, doing fantastic things in the NBA this year. 39, 3, and 8 in that victory for the Cavs. LaMelo Ball, 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists for the younger Ball brother. Safe to say this guy has hit the ground running in his first season
what he
in the NBA.
Not do
Exactly. Luka Doncic, another young star, 33, 10, and 9. Nikola Jokic, of course, 39, 14, and 9 assists.
Okay, we'll leave the NBA and quickly go to the tennis court. And first of all, we'll start with Roger Federer. What's up with him? We're expecting him that he will be able to defend his title in Miami after announcing that he's going to make his return, in Qatar, which the tournament starts next week. But right now, he's saying he will not be defending his title in Miami. And in Miami, you're going to be having world number 1 Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Serena Williams. All the top stars will be there in the US, but Roger Federer will not be there. Yeah,
that's because he's been out for so long now, and usually when you're coming back from injuries, serious injuries, surgery like that, you have to take it easy. You don't have to play too many games, so you don't re-injure whatever problems that you have, and I believe that's why Roger Federer has made this decision. The good thing is he's still on track to play in Qatar. Then after that, he's just going to go ahead and miss the Miami Open, where he happens to be the defending champion. But for Roger Federer now, he's at the stage, at the age where...
Of course, he's 39. He needs to pick his tournament.
Exactly. He's got to pick his tournament, and that's exactly what he's doing. So Roger Federer won't be defending his title in Miami. That's going to be on March the 22nd, and will end on April the 4th.
All right, we need to go on the break. When we come back, we'll be talking about Nigeria Professional Football League and also some games from the EPL and La Liga. Yes. Welcome back. Okay, you can talk to us on our Twitter handle. We'll talk about the MPFL today. And of course, knowing that Rivers United is suspended 2 players for, indefinitely for misconduct, unprofessional conduct.
Unprofessional, unethical,
sportsmanship. You're trying to remember the grammar, right?
I know what that means.
My PFL. We're still talking about who's going to win the league. I know it's too early, but with what Kwara United started at the weekend simply means those guys are just the team to beat. Yes, Enyimba is still in the picture. Akane players still in the picture. MFM, of course, they recorded their first victory of the season against Nasarawa United. It was 1-0. We'll talk about that. And also, Manchester City, when we did lose, will Wolves be the ones to beat them to end that 20-game winning streak? I mean, I've stopped counting, but the story always is City win again. Usually, that's what happens. So City will be in action today. Also, Real Madrid will be competing for the La Liga title, but somehow, with Barcelona winning at the weekend, Real Madrid now dropping a point against Real Sociedad. We'll talk about that on the show. So tell us about that also. Okay, we have a guest in the studio. Saliu is right here. Saliu, how are you doing? Good morning.
I'm really good. I'm excited to be back on sports this morning.
Welcome.
You always make it a point of duty to ensure that you get the name correctly, and it brings joy to me.
That's great.
as always.
It's a great name. Why is Saliu smiling? Okay.
All right.
We'll talk about MPFL right now, right?
away.
The game that happened in Lagos. Nasarawa United. Usually it's like MFM right now got their numbers. 7 times they've met. They've won 4. They won 5, losing
Yesterday
1
they
and
5.
drawing 1. Yesterday, make it 5. And it was Akoni who got them that 52nd minute goal. Confirmation of the results. The last game of match day 13. So you can easily look at the table now and say, okay, this is what it's looking like. But talking about the game itself, I mean, we saw that game in Lagos. It was, I mean, a very nervy one.
Yeah.
MFM, as usual, you know how they start. They try and score early and then defend.
Yeah.
But this one, the goal did not come in the first half as usual. You know, they usually try to do. It came just a few minutes, I mean, about 7 minutes into the second half. That's when Elijah Akoni got them that goal.
I think for MFM, you talked about the fact that it's just their 4th win of the season. They've not won any single game away from home. 6 games, 3 draws, and 3 defeats. But they've been able to steady the ship as regards their home form. It's now 7 points from the last possible 9, 2 wins and a draw. And you spoke about the fact that they have a wonderful record against Nasarawa United. 5 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. In very identical manner, Nasarawa United have been struggling. We can cast our mind back to after 6 games in the season, 4 wins, 2
And
draws,
they were
the only
flying.
unbeaten side.
Yeah.
They were top of the table. Now they've only won 2 of the last 7 matches, losing 5 of those games. So I don't think it was a shocking result in any way. The fact that MFM didn't get the goal early on would have cast a lot of doubts in the mind of the Lagos supporters. But invariably, they got the win and they're up to 9th, back in the top half of the table.
That's what is important. Getting
17
that win.
points. 17 points. They're not bad. I mean,
17 from
it's-
13. They're not bad. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you live
Great,
in
though. That's like,
yes.
I think that's less than half, because
Yeah.
39 is 13 wins.
So the reason why I've actually said it's not the worst record is because a lot of negativity surrounding this. MFM coaching changes, suspended or not suspended, step aside or not step aside, or steps aside, and but they still manage to find a way to stay afloat. Not playing fantastically, but getting the points when they have to, especially right here in Agege.
I think we know the modus operandi of a lot of teams in Nigeria. Get as many points as you can at home. So even though they've not gotten a single win and it's just 3 points away from home, they've been able to get 14 points. I think it's only 1 defeat at home, that one to Heartland, which of course, it will really hurt them. The fact that it's the former manager that brought his current team to win. But for MFM, it's so interesting. I think 23 points, table toppers, Kwara United, they are on 17 points, so they're just 6 points away from the top.
That's the point.
It's 2 wins, even though other results have to go their way. But it just shows you that in the MPFL, 1 win can take you as high as 6-7 places.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, just if
That's
you look
the
at
goal
that goal, it's spectacular. I
McConnell.
mean, what a way to actually get that your goal. I think the whole thing is that Nasarawa United actually played very well. I mean, Tayo mentioned that MFM didn't play a good game, but they needed the result. That's the hallmark of a team that wants to win. You may not play beautifully, you may not dominate the game. Your opponents, give them the opportunity to dominate and all that, but when you get your chance, the clear cut, I mean, Akoni just couldn't miss that. And that's how they got that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. We've seen, I mean, I don't want to go as far back as talking about championship winning teams, but we've seen Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United do it time and time and time again. We've seen Mourinho's teams do it also, where they don't play too well.
Gotta grind
They
it out.
relinquish possession to the opposition and then hit on a lightning break. Get that one. I think Mourinho is the perfect example. Get that solitary goal and then go on and lock up shop. So now what I think MFM must do is those away trips, they need to start getting a lot
They
more
got a
points.
point in the last one.
They
lost
did,
away
they
game,
did.
yeah.
But now, I think it's high time
to
they
get
got
more.
their first away win. It's 13 matches already. We're getting very close to a third of the season. You can't afford to have only wins at home.
Yeah, you can't afford
Indeed.
to have only, yeah, you're perfect.
Post-match
Post-match
reactions.
reaction, yeah,
of
coming
course.
from the game. Let's listen to the coaches talking about this.
But I can say I'm so glad, I'm happy. Kudos to my boys, they give it all and we get the 3 points. Yeah, in the board, I have to let them know that this is a cup final and we have nothing to lose than to just win the game. Irrespective of any goals comes and they listen to me, I have to motivate them that Nasarawa United, we are bigger than them. Go on them, we get our goal, and the goal comes.
We didn't do well as long as the game is concerned because you cannot do well and lose and then you say you did well. You can only do well, even if you didn't do well and you win, it's still as good as doing well. Nothing was wrong. If you watch the game, you discover that there was an ill luck attached with the game. If not, we played the game and it's not a team that you say maybe there was a kind of overpowering or whatever. This team it's not a team. If anybody say we are going to lose this game, maybe from outside I can bet it, but that is the game for you.
I mean, it hurts you because you played so well and you didn't win the game. So it's hard. It's really heartbreaking. I mean, just listening to Balaiki, you talking about
it's not. It's heartbreaking. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes you play well, you don't get the points.
I think those are the tougher losses to take.
Yeah.
It's acceptable. It's okay. You can take it when you play badly and you go on to lose. You understand? Even though that's more frustrating for you, but it's easier to accept that, okay, we didn't do as well as we should have done, and then we'll go and correct things on the training ground. But when you play well, arguably better than the opposition, because it was a very close game, then you begin to kick yourself that, okay, why did we end up losing if we were, if not even the better side, at least at par with the opposition? And you can understand why.
I thought the goalkeeper could have done better with this goal as well.
Positioning on his line.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah, ball positioning.
Anyways,
that's why it hurts.
mistakes.
But it doesn't really
Mistakes
matter. I mean,
part
if
of
they
the
had a chance, just convert it. That's what is important. Score a goal, and of course, you won't be ruining the fact that you played so well. What's the point of you having 110 possession and not being able to just have one single penetration? It's useless.
Anyways, so good win for MFM. The Knights on the log, like we said, and they look to push further up the table in the next game. We're not leaving Nigerian Professional Football League just yet. We have updates coming from the camp of Rivers United. Cecilia, you were talking about how since the promise of the millions, they've not been able to get a win away from home.
Like, are they not hungry to get their hands on? I hope we need to find out from Rivers Angels if they've gotten their 10 million because they won away from home the last time. So,
anyways, but the story coming out of the camp is two players, Theophilus, a fellow high, the #1 goalkeeper.
From Eimba, remember?
Okay, and Cyril, Ifeanyi, and Nemina.
Also from Eimba.
Have been suspended indefinitely for unethical and unprofessional conduct.
Okay.
It wasn't stated, Danny, what this conduct
Pending
is.
an outcome of an investigation on the matter.
They didn't say what the matter is.
But there's some reports. Okay.
It's not. I mean, it's not reports. I mean, that's the confirmation of the suspension coming from the Rivers United management. The handle. I mean, I don't think it takes a genius. The last away game was against Aqua United. They lost convincingly 3-0. 3-0. And in one of the goals that they conceded, Cecilia, there was a mix-up
between Afelokai and, of course,
Anemina, which led to a goal for... so guys are putting two... Okay, there you go. That is the situation. I don't know. You're going to have to judge. I am trying to draw a link. That's what I'm trying to do. It's not a coincidence that the two players involved in this particular situation have now been suspended. Look at that. Of course, that's symbolic and unpardonable mistake.
But we've seen
things like this happen.
We've seen Allison. I mean, just literally passing on opposition right there in front.
One of the best goalkeepers in the world.
I
think against Man City, he had two notable errors.
You'll be wondering what's the problem. And then we've seen some goalkeepers who are not really good goalkeepers who can handle the ball and all on their feet, trying to dribble. And then what happened? Pickford. We've seen. I
don't want to believe that this suspension has anything to do with this.
But that's the speculation right now. You're thinking, where do you get the unethical and unprofessional from? Unethical, unprofessional, and with this game, so everyone is trying to say maybe this is the reason why these guys were suspended, because they said pending an investigation. They're going to investigate the matter. What's the matter? They're not really coming out to tell us anything.
So
Unethical,
it gives room for speculation. It gives room
and that's
for
what's going
putting two
around.
and two together. And from this goal we just saw, I mean...
What I will say is there's nothing unethical about what happened here. It's
nothing unprofessional about
There's
it,
nothing
right?
unprofessional. It happens.
It's just a mistake.
I mean, it's just a case of they wanted to play out from the back, and unfortunately the pass was short. The goalkeeper didn't read it on time. I'm still of the opinion that it's always safer to just move the ball clear. But that's a discussion for another day. Football seems to want the goalkeeper to be the third centre-back and part of the back five. But there's nothing unethical and unprofessional about what we saw here.
Yeah.
Everybody makes a mistake. You just made mention of Alisson, who is, I'm sure we're mentioning top 5 goalkeepers in the world. He's going to be there.
Yeah.
And then he made not one but 2 mistakes against Manchester City. We did not see anything like Liverpool saying it was. So I don't want to believe it's this. Like they said, pending an investigation.
So
hopefully we'll get a lot more clarity when that investigation is
But
done.
can you just give us an idea of what it is? Wasn't professional, wasn't ethical.
That's what, maybe they are trying to do more findings. What I would say is, if you've not done adequate findings, you shouldn't be suspending. If you are suspending, you should have done findings to a particular level that we have ample information.
Exactly.
So something here still doesn't sit
before the
right.
horse,
Yeah.
right?
So that's it. You're suspending players.
That's a
Maybe
good
they don't. You
point.
just say unethical, unprofessional. What is it? We don't
What
know what
exactly
it is. But first
happened?
of all, you can charge them with something. They've been charged with so, and
Yeah.
then you suspend them. But right now, there's no charge. The next thing, you're suspending indefinitely pending an investigation. You've not investigated, but you're suspending the players. And speculations that, okay, it could be this game. Is it match fixing? Is this something that we're not... Okay. All speculation, yeah.
So we'll wait for the management of Rivers United to give us more updates on the situation. As soon as we get it, we'll be letting you know on the show. So that's it for the Nigerian Professional Football League. Now let's go to England and talk about the Premier League, where it's going to be Manchester City again, the juggernaut of City, trying to win their 21st straight win later tonight against Wolves. And Cecilia already said she's kind of losing count already because they've forgotten totally how to win matches, or how to lose matches. 27 games unbeaten, 20 straight victories. Tonight against Wolves. Are Wolves the side that will put a stop to this madness called City?
If you asked me this probably earlier on in the season, I would have said very
last
possible.
season.
Last season, because last season Wolves did double over Manchester City.
All right, Pep Guardiola still wary of the threats likely to be posed by Wolves. Won a good run as well too. Of course, not as good as City, but their little run, about how many games now?
Unbeaten in 5 in the league. That's a decent run, to be honest. I think they have 3 wins in that one and 2 draws. That's why it's not a foregone conclusion at the Etihad today, but you just find it very difficult to bet against City. I would not advise anybody who plays games and puts a stake to put anything against Manchester City because they are so good right now. Yeah. I've seen games where they've won by 2-goal margins and they've not even hit second gear.
Second gear.
That's the plethora of attacking talent that they have. If Sterling is not starting today, there's Riyad Mahrez. If it's not Mahrez, they have Phil Foden. They can throw in Bernardo Silva there. Ika Gundogan went on a wonderful run. I think he's their highest goal scorer in the league now. He has 11 goals. They just have so many players. And then, of course, we know Pep can always surprise the opposition by playing a formation that looks so bizarre on paper and still get the win.
Even KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, when he was even out injured and all that, and Eds is back right now. These guys didn't even lose. At the time he was injured, I thought maybe that would be the time to really hurt City, but somehow you can just hurt them. So
yeah,
City
looks very ominous for all the other teams as well too. I mean, you can't overemphasize the fact that they've got quality from all over the pack. Despite rotations, still
injuries.
No
De Bruyne, no Aguero over that run.
There you go.
That's why I
the
tend
best
to
players in
believe.
the league.
That's why I tend to agree with Jurgen Klopp. Yes, I know he talks too much and all that sometimes, but Jurgen Klopp mentioned that when he went on that break, when they didn't play games in 2 weeks during that COVID outbreak in their camp, like they rested. So when they came back, I mean, since they came back, they've not lost a game. So it tells you something. They had time to rest players because at that time, most of the players were injured. Somewhere, COVID-19 health and safety protocol, they couldn't play and all. 2 weeks, and when they came back, they haven't lost since that time. So maybe that actually played a major factor. Okay, I'm talking
Could
about
have.
Jurgen Klopp right now.
Yeah, could have played, but it's
Talking
still.
about Real Madrid.
Yeah, let's leave City alone, and we'll come back to them tomorrow. Dami, let's go to Spain and talk about the missed opportunity. Even though Zidane is trying to play it down. Real Madrid against Real Sociedad, they had to battle to get a point. Late goal coming from Vinicius Junior.
Yes.
1 point, could have been 3, and that would have given them a chance to go into the derby. And a win, exactly, and a win would have moved them level on points. Let's go, but they're going to have to settle for just this 1 point.
I mean, when you look at Real Madrid and the way they played the game, you take a look at the fact that the injury crisis is a problem. So the injury crisis, Karim Benzema is not there. He has missed 3 games. Out of that 3, they've won.
Saw Ramos in the stand as well.
Ramos in the stand and all that. So maybe because of that, that's the reason they're really not playing their weight. But we'll see what's going to happen this weekend. Hopefully, Karim Benzema returns from a thigh injury to be able to face Atletico Madrid this weekend. We need to go on a break. We'll come back. We'll be able to look at the papers and also read some of your tweets. Let's take a look at the papers, Tayo.
Yeah, let's take a look at the papers. We have just 2 papers and very interesting stories. Of course, there's John Igalo, there is Samuel Chukwueze, there is also Victor Moses as well too. There's Osimhen. Osimhen is a very, very interesting and very serious situation.
Okay.
Anyways,
Let's
stick with complete sports.
Okay.
First of all, Emirate, that's Unai, talking about Samuel Chukwueze. We're beginning to see the real Chukwueze. Okay, so have they been seeing the phony or the fake one before? Of course, there's had injury issues this season. Just came back from surgery as well. There's also Igalo sets new record with a brace. That's for his club, Al Shabab in Saudi Arabia.
I think that Chukwueze's own when he was named man of the match and all that in that game against Atletico Madrid. They lost the game.
Yeah,
they lost 2-0, but it was named man of the match. I'm like, where's the praise coming from?
Yeah.
But because exactly, that's the point I'm going to make. Because of his performance in that particular game. What do you make of Chukwueze? I mean, he's returning and trying to,
I've been worried for him, as with a lot of Nigerian players, but Chukwueze especially because he's been, even when he was not injured, he was struggling to make the starting lineup.
Yeah.
He was always on the bench, and then he felt like he was always an impact sub. And I saw some games where he came off the bench. When you're a player who is not in the starting 11, and it seems like your time in the limelight is going away, whenever you get those appearances off the bench, you have to make the manager remember that you did something. We know a lot of players who have forced their way into the manager's plan simply because whenever they're given a chance, they stake a claim. I think for Chukwueze, he needs to find consistency. We know he's an exciting player to watch. He can dribble well, but the end product and the decision-making, those are the 2 things that I question the most for him. If he can get a run out of games, he has to take it by the scruff of the neck. They lost the game, he was the man of the match. So hopefully he can build on those performances, do well in training, but most importantly, when you get those opportunities, make the manager remember that it was a bad decision to drop you in the first place.
Exactly, because, I mean, I remember what Naomi Osaka was saying, that the reason anytime she gets to the final, she's thinking of winning it because no one
remembers the runner-up.
That's it. So you are the one, all eyes are definitely on both of you, but who wins is the one that will carry the day. So Chukwueze should understand that, yes, you may have been man of the match in a game that you lost, but people always remember that Atletico Madrid won against Villarreal before they'll think of who was the man of the match. Nobody will remember that. So if you had maybe scored 2 goals a man, it would have been like, or maybe it rescues a point for Villarreal and all that, we would have been talking all about him right now. But man of the match, it's okay, it's cool, but he needs to improve on that.
Yeah, still on talking of Super Eagles players, Adami, there's also Osimhen out against Sassuolo. And it's been a checkered, wretched debut season for Victor Osimhen. And I am starting to get worried with all the issues, not scoring, health challenges, injuries, and all of that. What do you make of Victor Osimhen?
I think of all our Super Eagles players, he's the one I'm most worried about right now. With the investment Napoli puts in him, first of all, before he got injured, before he had his COVID episode and then he got injured, he was struggling in this. I think the system Gattuso put up didn't exactly favor him. He seemed to play Mertens behind him. Mertens is not the most creative of midfielders. He needed someone who can give Osimhen the chance to run those channels and play off the shoulder of the last defender. But after the COVID episode and also his injuries, the thing I usually say is when you are out of the squad for a while. When you come back, you've already lost ground. You need to make sure that you hit the ground running once you come back. That didn't happen. Unfortunately for him, no fault of his own. He got an injury, and then because of the nature of the injury, we knew he was going to be carefully managed.
Wow, yeah.
On Wednesday now against Sassuolo, he's not going to be in action. But whenever he gets back into action, his next game, he has to score at least once. Because I'm struggling to remember the last time Osimhen scored
he's
for
just
Napoli.
coming back from injury, so it's hard.
He can't afford to keep giving people reasons to put him on the
doubt
bench.
him, yeah.
He has to remind the manager that I am here. I mean, they bought him to lead the line, I'm sure not just for this
Yeah,
season,
of course.
for some years to
For
come.
some years to
So
come,
he
yeah.
has to start staking a claim and remind Gattuso that, okay, the club put a whole lot of money on
That
me.
record fee, yeah.
Exactly, now I can pay a return on investment.
All right, so we
that's
wish Victor Osimhen all the best for the remainder of the season. There's still Super Eagles, a lot of them featuring on Complete Sports this morning. Indeed, he hailed for putting up a masterclass against Arsenal. You call that a masterclass, really?
I
don't think so.
Yeah, he had a good performance, but
Yeah,
you know,
kind of
just
sold
one
it for
thing,
that,
just
Sold it
one
with
Yeah.
mistake, and everybody wants to.
Oh,
If you
talk
know,
about
the
that
thing
one.
about people is, I think good people usually, when you make one mistake,
That's
it's
when they remember.
overhyped.
Yes.
But bad people, when you, I mean, they know
When
that
you do one good
that's
thing,
I
it's
mean,
overhyped
they're
also.
too. So it's always, I mean, it's hard. But I think he would be gutted by that. But
Of
they
course,
lost by
of course.
3-1, so it wasn't just because
And
of
then
that
the game,
penalty.
yeah.
So, I mean, on that day,
Let's
they
just
were
say,
not good enough. That's
yeah,
just
it
it.
was just a bad day at the office. Amokachi ruined 2000 AFCON title loss. Says VAR denied Eagles 2000 AFCON title. VAR wasn't even.
There wasn't, no,
he's talking about absence of
it's the
VAR,
absence of
yeah,
VAR.
yeah.
That's what. That if there was VAR at that time, maybe
Would have won
no,
the
with this.
Oh, you mean goal line technology?
technology? I think goal line technology.
that's
is
more like
because if you check the
Such a
referees
painful-
now that you have when it comes to VAR, sometimes you get confused because even the referees still get to make the final decision. We saw it at the United game where the
VAR told
Stuart
it was
was
a penalty.
asked to check. He checked and he said, "Look, I'm not giving it," and VAR said it's a penalty. So sometimes all decisions have to fall
Very
back.
pleased the referee, final
Let's
match.
take a look at the last one this morning. Sporting Sun is the last one. They still have Chukwueze also returning with a bang on that, being named man of the match. And Moses will meet Mourinho from best coaches shortlist. What does that mean? Okay, well, whatever.
It's personal.
It's personal, right?
Personal.
And you have this one. Manchester United quits Sancho chase for Griezmann. Really? Yeah, silly season
very
is
interesting.
approaching. So
Yeah.
really,
Yeah,
because Griezmann to United. Now, there's some things you just look at,
All right, before we go, we've got a message
Okay,
from
okay.
Noble Flyer. It's agreeing with what you said earlier. Following due process has always been a problem in Nigeria. If a fellow high or a naming have done anything wrong, they should have been queried and investigated first of all, not the other way around. Breaks my heart to admit the noisy neighbors will win the league. Manchester
you guys
United
gave it to
fan,
them.
big fan.
I mean, you gave it to them. You could have chased them even till the end of the season, even if you're not winning. But United actually handed it over to them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Salih, for coming to the program.
It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate your time, Dan.
Thank you so much.
All right, cheers. Thank you for watching as well. Try and join us again tomorrow if you can. I'm Tayo Salam.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Thank you.